Just stay right there. Okay, so,
We need your vote, Michael.
all right. So I'm calling to order the special call meeting for April 16, 2018. Do I have a motion?
Madam Chair, I make a motion that we go into executive session. We'll do a working lunch while we're in executive session.
Okay. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Seconded by
second,
Reverend
sorry.
Collins.
Seconded by Reverend Collins, sorry. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, we'll go into executive session. Hey, we're reconvening, okay? All right. No, you're not. It's not even something we're voting on. It's already taken care of. It was already done. It was just information. Yep. Okay, all right, you're good? Okay, all right, I'm gonna put you back on speakerphone so we can hear you.
He's good.
I was gonna say,
It's a long password.
Okay, we're gonna reconvene back in open session. Mr. Garrett is on the phone here, so let us know if you can't hear. The first item on the agenda, item 2A, we're not going to take action on today, and we'll put back on the agenda for Monday if our issues are addressed, and we'll take a look at that again. 2A. 2A1.
Contractual month.
Yep, and item number
Acceleration.
2B was just an update from the staff attorney, so we don't have any action to take on that.
2B or not 2B.
Item 2C.
Madam Chair,
Yep,
on the student appeal number 1, I would like to make a motion to uphold the constituent board's decision.
okay, so we have a motion from Ms. Coates to uphold the constituent board's decision. Do I have a second?
Second.
So we have a motion from Ms. Coates and a second from Ms. Jeffrey to uphold the constituent board's decision. This,
Type one, sorry.
okay.
The question.
Yeah.
Hold on one second. Hold on one sec.
So we can label it correctly.
So it is the student who was at North Charleston Creative Arts. Okay? So this is student number 1. All right, any questions about?
Chris, question?
Yes, I just want to remind the board that this decision has been rendered on testimonies of young students talking a month later after the incident of a child having a tube at school. And we're really making a decision based on testimony of children outside of the norm of the incident, where the child itself was never seen with any type 2 at the school premises.
All right,
And so therefore, we have to consider carefully, is that how we want to spell children, that we don't even meet with the parent in advance and discuss the issue at hand and see what kind of student we're dealing with, or
Right.
really locate, or meet the needs of the children. The child maybe needs support of psychological, social, mental needs, and we don't know that.
That was
Right.
the
I hate to,
decision of the
Reverend
board.
Collins, the
Yes, but also
recommendation
also-
is not for expulsion. The recommendation is for placement at an alternative school.
With those
Yeah.
services
With those
you're
services.
asking.
I would like to see the student return back to his home school
Okay,
with support.
all right, Mr. Staub?
I would, given if I understand correctly, that there may be a situation where if we had heard from the parent by now, we might not even be having this decision-making process because of a certain extenuating circumstance. I'd like to see us put this off for a week to see if we can get an answer from the parent as to whether they still need us to do what
I'll second
they're
that.
requesting.
Okay, I think that our attorney said that even though we've been told that the student may be transferring, we still need to render a decision on this, unless Natalie.
It's not time sensitive.
If you want to vote to hold it in abeyance until next week, that would be acceptable.
Okay.
We were not able to reach the parents today.
Okay.
So we could not get a withdrawal of this request.
Okay.
That may happen if you want to wait until next
Okay, all right, so right now we have a
Madam
motion
Chair.
on the floor. Cindy?
I'm not going to withdraw my motion.
Okay.
It can be voted down, but I want to point out that the motion is to uphold the deliberative decision of a publicly elected board. And I don't want any other board members' comments that we're making a decision based on secondhand information, whatever. I'm not ruling on the issues or making a motion based on my opinion of the issues. I am making my motion based on the opinion that I believe the D4 constituent board thoroughly vetted the issue, is elected by the public to vet those issues, and I am making a motion to uphold their decision.
And
Okay.
I think Stiles is saying the same thing. I think he just wants to make sure, because circumstances have changed a bit, making sure that we contact the parent to see if this,
If I understand correctly, the child may not even be in our district.
right, that's all.
So Todd just called the question. So right now, the motion that we have on the floor is to uphold the constituent board's recommend decision, which if the child isn't in school in our district anymore, then that would be moot. But all right, so Mr. Hollenshed, how do you vote?
Me.
Ms. Coates?
Yes.
Mr. Staubs?
Yes, I'll uphold the constituent board.
Mr. Garrett?
Yes.
Reverend Collins?
No.
Ms. Jeffrey?
Yes.
Mr. Miller?
Yes.
Reverend Mack?
Yeah.
And I vote yes, and the motion passes. But if you could update us when you hear, let's let us know. Okay.
Madam Chair?
Yes?
Ironic as this sounds, in some cases, not everybody gets it right around the first time. So for student number 2, I would make a motion that we overturn the constituent 4 board's recommendation
Oh, no, you
and
don't.
ask that the district provide all legally required
No,
services.
ma'am, they properly vetted this case
Properly
already.
vetted the case?
Hold on, hold on.
You might be hypocrites.
Cindy made a
ma'am.
motion, so restate.
I believe they did everything correctly,
be
and I
seconded.
disagree with it.
But wait, so what's your motion?
What is your motion?
My motion is to overturn the constituent
They didn't
4
rule.
board
They didn't
They didn't rule.
They didn't rule nothing.
They didn't pass the motion.
On for which one? Now, are you talking about the next
I
student? or
am,
the-
so we're not making a motion on overturning a decision.
No.
So why was it appealed if there was no decision?
Because
They want a decision.
all right, let's one person talk at a time.
Can we get a legal
So
request
Natalie,
of
can
what's
you
being asked of
explain
us?
to that about how that happened since the constituent board didn't
They
take?
did make a decision, they made a decision to send the child back to school.
Thank you. I would make a motion to overturn the D4
okay.
constituent board decision, recommend expulsion, and ask the district provide all required services.
Okay, so we have a motion,
Okay.
very clear.
First time.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Yeah. Second for Mr. Hollenshed. Do we have any questions?
Then restate the motion. I'm sorry.
Cindy, can you restate the motion?
Overturn the constituent 4 board recommendation, recommend the student be expelled, and ask that the district provide all required services.
Okay. Mr. Staub, do you have a question?
All right, so my comments would be, without mentioning who this is, that I listened to the audio of the executive session of the District 4 Constituent School Board, and I think if we pass the motion that Ms. Coates has made, that we're making a grave mistake, because there's no intent in this case. It sounds like the parent's fault very clearly from what I've heard, and that we would be punishing the child for the sins of the parent, which I think is just, abhorrent to me. It's a very serious issue, and if there was a way for the parent to be punished for this, that'd be one thing, but I don't think that we should punish the child, because there was no intent. It doesn't sound like it doesn't sound like it was the child's fault. And it's basically a damned if you do, damned if you don't situation, as far as I can tell from hearing all the facts.
All
right. Mr. Hollenshed?
Parents?
Student one year probation.
Just like I said before, my daddy was Henry Hollenshed, and I knew my daddy guns were at. And if my daddy had a gun in that car, and I drove
Kevin.
my daddy had an apple in that car, and I drove that apple, I knew that apple was in that car.
Okay.
So,
Good job, Kevin, you fooled everybody.
Okay, does anybody else have any questions? So just to remind everybody that,
You do what you need to do. I don't know.
yeah. You one for one school, you do for the other.
yep, I'm waiting for that end of the table. Do I need to separate y'all?
Sorry, Your Honor.
Okay. So we did, in executive session, have provided to us the state statute with the law that's relevant to this, this particular situation. So, any other questions? All right,
Motion been made in second.
Mr. Hollenshed, how do you
Aye.
vote? Ms. Coates?
Yes.
Mr. Garrett?
No.
Reverend, Mr. Staubs?
No.
Reverend Collins?
Come back to me.
Come back to you.
Just go ahead, come back to me.
Ms. Jeffrey?
Yes.
Mr. Miller?
All right,
Reverend Collins?
Good, everybody?
I got you. I'm coming back to you.
Don't come to me last.
Nope.
Come to me last.
Reverend Collins?
I didn't say come to me last. I'm thinking. Come to me last.
Oh my God. Reverend Mack?
No.
I vote yes. Reverend Collins?
Yes.
Okay, the motion passes. The next item on the agenda is item 2D1.
Madam Chair. I'd like to make a motion for both students 3 and 4 and combine the motion.
Okay,
That following policy JFAB allow the students to remain for the remainder of this school year, waiving tuition, and to deny the remainder of the other requests.
Second.
okay, so we have a motion from Ms. Coates and a second from Mr. Miller to approve staying in school to the remainder of this school year and waive tuition and deny the remainder of the request. Any
Yes.
questions on those?
I'd like to make sure the motion reflects that we're following the policy
Yep,
JFAB.
following policy.
Second.
Okay, Michael would second it. Any questions? Mr. Hollenshed?
Aye.
Ms. Coates?
Yes.
Mr. Garrett?
Yes.
Mr. Staubs?
Yes.
Reverend Collins?
Yes.
Ms. Jeffrey?
Yes.
Mr. Miller?
Yes.
Reverend Mack?
Yes.
And I vote yes, the motion passes. And that is, do we have any other items for the
Move to adjourn.
special call meeting? All right, all in favor of adjourning?
Aye.
Okay, everyone go.